The slope was steepy and studded with major rocks. So as we know, in the last stanza we have done, there was snow around, but this writer's driver, Saturn, decided that I will try and drive. So the slope was steepy and studded with major rocks. They have come to the place which was surrounded by rocks. But somehow Saturn negotiated them. Negotiated means he could come out of that driving his vehicle. His four-wheeler drive vehicle lurching from one obstacle to the next. So lurching means he must be driving the vehicle and it would be very unsteady, not very fast. Slowly he must be driving. And you must have seen that in hilly area, when we drive, the vehicle goes sometime one side and another side, like dancing like that. So that car was also doing that. In so doing, he cut off one of the hairpin bends. So we must have seen, as we are living in the hilly area, we must have seen the hairpin bends. So many hairpin bends are there. The shape is like hairpin, very sharp bends. So he has crossed one of the hairpin bends, regaining the trail further up where the snow had not drifted. In the same place, after that he got the trail where still there was snow. I checked my watch again as we continued to climb in the bright sunshine. So writer checked his watch again to see where were they, how many meters above the sea level. We crept past 5,400 meters and my head began to throb horribly. So they were in the height of 5,400 meters and he said my head started paining now. It was beating horribly and it was paining. I took gulps from my water bottle. Then he drank water, which is supposed to help a rapid ascent. So he said I drank water which would be helpful for me in this climbing of the mountain. We finally reached the top of the pass at 5,515 meters. It was marked by the large cairn of rocks. So they reached at the top of the pass, which was 5,500 meter above the sea level, and he said there were cairns of rock, piles of stones were there, festooned with the white silk scarves and ragged prayer flags. So they reached there at the top of the pass, and he saw in in rocky area there were so many rocks were there, and there was some decoration of garlands and silk scarves was there, and also the flag. You must have seen in the movie or in the picture somewhere in the Tibetan area. This in Tibet, people tie the flags. They worship and they tie the flags. You must have seen. So that was there. We all took a turn round the crane in a clockwise direction as is the tradition. So they also took the round of the cane. Cane means the heap of the stone, and it was like taking the round clockwise. It was a tradition of that place. And Saturn checked the tire on his vehicle. He stopped at the petrol tank and partially unscrewed the top. And now he was the driver. He was checking the tires of the vehicle, and he opened the petrol tank, which emitted a loud hiss. So as he opened the petrol tank, because of the pressure, he as he opened there was a hiss sound. The lower atmospheric pressure was allowing the fuel to expand. So that's why when he opened that lid of the petrol tank, that hiss sounded there. It sounded dangerous to me. Maybe, sir, Saturn laughed, but no smoking. So he said, writer said, it sounded very dangerous to me. And Saturn started laughing. He said, but no, it's not smoking. It's just it's coming from the petrol only. He was making fun. My headache soon cleared as we carried down the other side of the pass. Now they were coming down other side of the pass, and he said my head was a little bit okay. It was 2 o'clock by the time we stopped for lunch. We ate hot noodles inside the long canvas tent. So 2 o'clock they reached to the place, and in the canvas tent they had the hot noodles, part of a work camp erected beside a dry salt lake. So it was like a work camp erected beside the dry salt lake. There was a dry salt lake, and one camp was there, work camp. People were working there. In that place only they had their lunch. The plateau is pockmarked with salt flats and brackish lake. So that was the plateau, and this plateau was had a mark which was showing it that it was covered with the snow and all, and there were brackish lakes were there. Brackish means salty lakes were there. Okay, this place where they reached here, it had salty lakes. The vestige of the Tethys Ocean, which bordered Tibet before the great continental collision that lifted it skyward. So the writer wants to say that the plateau is pockmarked with the salt flat and brackish lakes. Pockmarked means there were the marks, okay, of the salty lake. People could understand the salty lake. So the vestige of the Tethys Ocean. Vestige means mark, okay, of the Tethys Ocean. Earlier there was Tethys Ocean, but after that, after so many years ago, what happened when this everything changed because of the tectonic plates and all. So what happened that time? Before that, Tethys Ocean was there, and after that, what happened with the collision? When this collision happened with the tectonic plates, it lifted to the skywards. This one was a hive of activity, and this place was filled of activities. Men with pickaxes and shawls trudging back and forth in their long sheepskin coats and salt erected boots. So they were working with their pickaxes and shawls, and they were wearing the salt encrusted boots also, which were filled with salt, because this was salty lakes were there and these lakes were dried. So they were taking salt from these dry lakes. All wore sunglasses against the glare as a steady stream of blue trucks emerged from the blinding white lake laden with the piles of salt. So all they wore sunglasses also, because why they were wearing sunglasses? Because the glare as a steady stream of blue trucks emerged from the blinding white lake laden with the piles of salt. Blue color trucks were coming there, and this lake was pure white. It was shining so brightly that it was, so writer said, it was blindingly white, which could be very very sharp light, very bright light, which we are not able to see. And the trucks were coming there, they were laden with a pile of salt. By late afternoon, we had reached the small town of Hor. So after that, lunch they did in this place where the salt lakes were there. Then we reached to the village, which was Hor. Back on the main east-west highway that followed the old trade route from Lhasa to Kashmir. So east-west highway, I told you in the beginning of the chapter, this was the same silk route. Okay, old trade route from Lhasa to Kashmir. Lhasa is the capital of Tibet. So Lhasa to Kashmir, this route was followed. Daniel, who was returning to Lhasa, found a ride in a truck. And Daniel, he wanted to go to Lhasa, so he got a truck to go. He went in there. So Saturn and I bade him farewell outside a tire repair shop. We had suffered two punctures in the quick succession on the drive down from the Salt Lake. So 2 times they got their tire puncture when they were coming from the Salt Lake. And Saturn was eager to have them fixed since they left him with no spare. So he had only two tires and both were punctured. So he wanted to fix them up because he did not have any spare tire after that. Besides, the second tire he had changed had been replaced by one that was as smooth as my bald head. And he said he has to change the tires now. He has to fix them up because the second tire which he replaced, it was as smooth as my bald head. Bald means people those who do not have hair on their head. He said the second tire was like that. It means it would be very smooth and plain. And the tires become smooth and plain when they become old. So he said we had to change the tires. So they have come down from the hilly area because they have come down from the salty area, and they got two punctures also in their tires, and they had only two tires, spare tire. And definitely because coming in the hilly area and coming from the salty this lake side area, maybe the crystals, because of the crystals of the salt also, the tire must have got punctured, and now they have to mend both the tires. And they were near this tire repair shop from where Daniel went to Lhasa in a truck, and they were fixing the tires for the further journey.